because this all may be on the feed once we get it uploaded. We'll see. Give it 9, 8, 7. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, well, welcome to First Wesleyan Church. This is a brand new update. This is totally live, and just want to bring you up to date on what's going on as far as the issues with COVID and all that. So I'm going to try and give you an update as I'm walking around the church. So this will be a little bit of a feat because I have a camera in my left hand. I have a phone that helps me see exactly what's being videotaped in my right hand, and then I also have some information in my left hand. So here we are in the entryway to the church. I'm happy to announce that in just a couple of weeks we're going to get back to having our public gatherings. That's on June 7th. I know a lot of you have been waiting and are excited about coming back. And so you want to just be ready for that. That's 2 weeks from tomorrow. We will have church the next couple of weeks on Facebook and YouTube. And then starting June 7th, we will only have church here on YouTube. That's important for you to know, so that you can start making plans to be meeting here on the YouTube channel if you're not able to make it to service. So we are going to be having our doors open in a couple of weeks. The doors will be propped open. One of the things that we made a decision as far as the board was concerned is to make sure that we limit as much touching as possible, and that includes you to any surfaces as well as between people who don't live in the same household. So we'll have that front door propped open. You don't have to touch the doors to come in. We won't have any bulletins. There's some things there that have been there for the last couple of months, but we won't have anything for you to grab. I want to make sure that you stay safe, and when you come in here into the sanctuary, once again, you won't have to open any doors. So no touching of surfaces as much as possible. All right, the first thing I want to remind you all is that please, 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 if you have any kind of sickness, any kind of cough or sneezes, even allergies right now are probably just going to freak people out. So we want to make sure that if you have any of those symptoms, that you just stay home. All right. Again, the church service will continue to be on YouTube, and so it'll be available for you each Sunday. So go ahead and use that. The other thing that we want you to know is that the board has decided that masks will be required for church for the foreseeable future. We don't know when that will change. But for now, it's something that it's going to be required for everybody over the age of 2, according to the CDC parameters, their guidelines. And so we're going to require that of everybody. One thing that you'll notice, though, is those who are on the platform, whenever they are on the platform, will not be wearing a mask, just to help with just the feel of the service, as well as the fact that they're far enough away from the general congregation that they won't cause a problem. Also, those ladders won't be there. Those have been there to handle our extra lighting that we've used. So those will be gone. You don't have to worry about that. When you arrive at church, of course, you'll come in the main door like you usually do. And so you'll need to come in and come right into the sanctuary and find a spot to sit. Find a seat that's open. There's not going to be any fellowshipping inside the building at all. We're going to encourage all interaction between congregants to be outside. If you want to have a conversation, go outside. We encourage you to continue using your masks. But while you're in the church building, you're not going to have any interaction with people other than just waving from across the room. We're only going to use the entryway and the sanctuary, so go ahead and just come right in and find a seat. And also to say, no physical contact between people who don't live together, all right? So no handshakes, no hugs, no high fives. You can air five from a ways away. You can pretend to hug, things like that, but no physical contact. We're not going to have any children's ministry, so kids are going to be staying with their parents for the entire service. If that's too difficult, we encourage you once again, stay home and watch on YouTube until we're ready to loosen some of those parameters as well. All right? You're only going to be able to sit with people that you actually live with. We're going to have some of the pews marked off. roughly every other row, maybe a little bit more. And so it's going to be very sporadic seating throughout the sanctuary. So please don't fuss. Please don't give anybody a hard time, whether someone's sitting in the pew that you wanted to sit in or the one that you normally sit in is marked off. We're doing our best to keep everybody safe. And so just come on in and enjoy the service that way. Also note that we know we have these pew cushions on here, and those are typically there to help keep our bums from getting too sore while we're in the service. Those are not going to be there in a couple of weeks. One of the things that we're trying to do is make sure that the sanctuary is sanitized as best as we can. So we're actually going to be taking those out because it is nearly impossible, if not impossible, for us to sanitize the cushions between our service and the service for the Spanish church in the afternoon. The only way to sanitize them makes it so they stay wet for 3 or 4 hours. And that just wouldn't be fair to everybody else who would come later in the afternoon. So, keeping that in mind, we want to encourage you to bring something to sit on if your bottom needs something soft. All right? Bring a pillow, bring a cushion, bring whatever you want to bring, maybe a quilt, whatever it is, bring it and use it for Sunday morning. But also understand that those will not be allowed to stay in the sanctuary when we leave. You have to take it home with you. All right? You can't leave your pillow here for next week because that would be something that could possibly carry some sickness on it. All right? One important thing to understand is our restrooms will not be in use like we normally have them. All right? Typically, we have the restrooms open all the time, and I don't know why the camera just moved way over there, but it did. Typically, our restrooms are open all the time, and we go out back this door. And so we're not going to have that open all the time. And this was something that was tough for the board. We had a long conversation about it. The restroom will be available for emergency usage. All right, emergency usage. But the reality is it takes about probably 7 to 10 minutes for a bathroom to be sanitized, disinfected after each person uses it. And so we want to limit that. Every time someone goes to the bathroom, somebody else needs to come behind them and sanitize. And so we want to make sure that everybody who's here is able to partake in the public worship service. And so we will have someone who is designated to have a key to let you in if it's an emergency. But really what we want you to practice is what you practice when you go on a long road trip. All right? Everybody, before you leave the house, you want to use the bathroom. Okay? So while you're here at church, you don't need to use the restroom facilities. Okay? So keep that in mind. I know that's a tough one, and I know that it did it again, didn't it? That is very weird. All right, I'm just going to leave my phone out of my pocket because I think that's what's doing it. All right, so it's a tough one for everybody not to use the restrooms while you're here, but we're going to ask that you do just that, okay? All the touchable surfaces in the church are going to be sanitized before and after each service, so we're going to do our best to keep you safe. And also, you'll notice that you may have seen this already, but the drinking fountains for the time being are not going to be accessible. Again, we're looking to keep as many surfaces from being used as possible and keep them as safe as possible. So keep that all in mind. Hopefully, many of you received a letter in the mail over the last day or so. If you didn't get it yet, you may get it in the next couple of days. Everybody who's local to our area should have gotten one. If you did not get one, let me know, and we'll make sure that you're on the list for future mailings. Or I'll just let you know we did send you one, and it's the Postal Service's fault. So that's basically all that I need to let you know. You'll be able to watch this again if you didn't get everything. But let me just tell you that I'm excited to be back. This has been a stressful time as your pastor, not being able to gather for public worship, but also at the same time, the idea and all the procedures that are going into effect to make sure that we keep everybody safe is also stressful. So let's just deal with each other with grace as best we can, so that as we move forward, we keep each other healthy, not only physically, but emotionally and spiritually as well. So we're excited to be back, and just remember, just in a couple of weeks, we'll be able to gather together once again here at the church. What I did say in the letter also is that if you don't feel comfortable coming because you have some compromised parts of your immune system, or you're just someone who always gets sick, whatever it may be, you are free to stay home. We encourage that. If you feel like it's not safe for you to be out, please stay home. Again, this will be on YouTube. We're going to be broadcasting to YouTube for the foreseeable future. And so we just want you to be safe. We want you to be healthy in every way. So be aware of that and be ready for in a couple weeks. We'll be back, and we're excited to see you once again. We're excited to worship God together through music, through studying the Word, through giving of our offerings, and just our fellowship, even if it looks a little bit different at first, to keep our congregation safe. We're excited to worship God through every part of our lives together. All right? We're looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. We'll see you tomorrow morning on YouTube and Facebook Live for our services, and then, of course, on the 31st, and then June 7th at 10 a.m. we'll be right here. All right? Until then, church, you are sent to do God's work in your community, in your neighborhood, in your family, even in your own life. Do the things that bring life to those around you. Church, you are sent.